Well, hello, Bob Dendry here, and welcome back to Transport Fever 2, where we are building the Reno, Thousand Oaks and Roseville Railway. Now, this series is going a lot further into the future than both of my previous series, and it's because I really want to get this railway right, and we've made some, I would say, fairly crucial design mistakes when we've been building this, and I want to start right here in Santa Clara. So this is a really major point in the network. We have a lot of passenger traffic through here, a lot of terminating freight traffic, and also a lot of through freight traffic as well. And there's really some issues with especially affecting our iron ore lines, which are really crucial, really profitable lines, and they're getting held up by passenger trains. So we want to do our best here to try and mitigate that and get some better through flow traffic. And I want to do a few different sort of fixes along the network around getting things flowing quicker and more smoothly. So we're going to call this the Clearways Project, and I have unashamedly stole it from the New South Wales government's 2000s era project to really declutter and detangle the network. So we're going to start right here in Santa Clara, as I mentioned. And really a major problem for us is when we have passenger trains stopping at the sort of rightmost platform of view now and holding up freight trains. As you can see at the moment, we've got freight trains that are deviating via these sort of freight platforms and the secondary passenger platforms. That doesn't really work in practice. There's delays from that. You can see we've got a train that's sort of just sitting there waiting for this delay to be cleared up before it can go through. And especially going up the screen as per sort of our current view, we can make it a lot better and a lot quicker, and we can use a dive. So that's what we're going to be starting on, is the Santa Clara dive here. And what it's going to do is it's going to break off to the right of screen, head under our sort of main passenger building, and then pop back up on the other side. And that's going to be pretty much where all of our freight traffic is going to be going. And then we'll need to sort of decide how we want our traffic going this direction, where our current bricks train is heading out of, where we want that to deviate, and how we'll sort of best accommodate that. Because as you can see, we're just holding up a lot of traffic right now. So we might actually try going down when we're sort of still in this sort of valley-ish thing. And if we start heading down here, we might actually be able to start tunneling a little bit earlier. Let's see what we can do though. And we don't want to be going sort of too far away from our existing right-of-way. So let's see if this is going to work for us. I really feel we should be pretty much tunneling at this point, so it surprises me that we're not. I wonder if we might need to do a little bit of a bridge here instead, because we can't cut off probably this connection here. It doesn't make sense for us to do so. But we might need to temporarily get rid of it. So let's see if we can get tunneling now. I'm genuinely surprised we're still not tunneling. We are like so far down. And we're still not able to tunnel. Oh, here we go. Okay, we've got a tunnel. That's like so low. Okay, so if we can just make it so we've just started tunneling. So there. We can now continue to draw this along and keep it as a straight or a level track rather than going down. We can in fact even start coming up actually based on this. Actually that's pretty decent actually. Question is, where can we hook in? We can't quite yet, but we can there-ish. Still saying too much slope. So can we get it to hook in? No, it's still saying too much slope, so we might need to keep it coming up. Like so. Okay, perfect. Then what do we got now? We've got too much slope again, and it's because of this. We can fix that, but we need to fix this first. So we might fix this connection, and then we'll go ahead and make the other one work. Like, this might be a temporary bridge, potentially. And just see if that is going to work for us. Why is it saying construction not possible? Do we need to go in that direction? Why is it saying that though? It doesn't make sense to me. Is that ideal? No, it's definitely not. But it's probably the best option we've got just right now. We'll make a temporary connection here if we can do that. No, we can. Yes, we can. Okay, perfect. And we're going to sever this connection here. And then we will reconnect it all up. Lovely. Is that done? I think that's actually pretty much good to go now. So all we need to do now is to signal this little sort of section of track. And we just need to modify some of our trains to now travel via that route instead. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to bin this connection here, and instead we will route via this signal here. So that's going to be a really good first step, and I think that will really cause our traffic to hopefully die down just a little bit. Next thing I've noticed is that we've still got some old low-speed track through here. So I'm going to quickly do some upgrades there. We're also going to upgrade through to Santa Clara with electrified, and we'll talk about that in a sec as well. Now I'm getting some errors about some collisions, which is interesting. I don't know what exactly we're colliding with there. Don't have like duplicated lines or anything, do we? No, I wonder if they're colliding. I don't think they'd be colliding with our tunnel. That wouldn't make a lot of sense. But everything is unable to upgrade due to a collision. It's not letting me force upgrade either. That's not working. Alright, this might be a disaster. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this station and rebuild it. So I guess this is the grand redesign of the Santa Clara station. So we want 3 tracks of passenger. This is also like slightly reconfiguring it as well, isn't it? Not quite in the same position, the buildings anyway, as they were before. So I apologise for everyone whose houses have just been resumed. And now we'll get a cargo platform in here. And some tracks as well. Might do this slightly differently, actually. I don't think we can have a cargo building here, but we can definitely put just a little platform right there and build a cargo building off that. Yeah, so I'm not sure what the complaint was there, but it does give us opportunity to slightly modify our approaches here, which hopefully will make things just a little bit nicer flowing. This is going to be terrible when this starts running again, but hey. Look, you've got to make changes somehow, right? In fact, we might maybe push this junction back a little bit. The reason for that is I want to put a double slip in here. This is a tip I actually got from a comment. So what we could do here, we can build this down and then we can make that into a double slip, which allows trains to switch over. Now, I still want to use some of these sort of more grand double connections like that. I think it makes sense, especially with two-way traffic, to do it that way. But being able to build in double slips does give us just that little extra bit of flexibility with how we build our lines. So I'm going to be trying to use that more in my builds going forward. This should be everything we need. We're probably going to break a few problems, or break a few trains with how we're doing this, but it's probably okay. What's your problem? Why can't you do things? Roseville to Santa Clara bricks. That should be fine. Oh, yes, actually, no, you are definitely not fine. My mistake. It will be now, though. And what about you? You're probably facing the wrong way, I guess. Perfect. All right, cool. So, we've done that. Strange rebuild. I don't know why we actually needed to do that, but it is what it is. And now we're just going to re-signal this. Alright, so this rebuild is all done now. We can definitely utilize this track here as a bit of a bypass. So I might try and do that with most of our trains that will be passing through here, that they're not stopping. It's definitely going to be quicker as well, even if they're stuck behind a train that's going to be unloading here. I think the unloading of freight is still going to be quicker than the loading and unloading of passengers here as well. The next part of this grand rebuild we're doing is going to be replacing the Santa Clara Fontana shuttle. And what we're going to be doing is actually we're going to be repurposing the Lancaster to Fontana line, which has not taken off at all. If we find the train that runs it, no profit whatsoever, nor has there ever been. And it hasn't changed the traffic situation either. So we're going to be replacing it. Or actually, we're going to be getting rid of the line entirely. But we will be utilizing the train to run a sort of a line between Santa Clara, and we're actually going to go up to Hollywood. So this is going to be sort of a bit of a suburban line. It's going to be a shorter distance one compared to our, big grand line we're running all the way up to, that we built last week. So we're going to have to reconfigure this station here as well. At the moment, we have two separate sort of separated sets of tracks. We're actually going to convert that into a main and relief type system, which is a little bit different. But it's going to mean that we're going to be able to retain sort of priority for our express trains, I should say, and will allow our freights and our local trains to run as well on their own set of lines. So first of all, what we're going to need to do is connect these two platforms through, which should be a fairly quick connection. Next, what we're actually going to have to do here as well is we're actually going to have to switch the directionality of these lines. Both of these lines here will be heading down, and our up lines will be these two here. So it's going to take a little bit. We're going to have to remove some of our signaling as well because it's not really agreeing. So we might build a little bit of a stub of what will be our eventual double track here. And then we're going to have it sort of branch back in here, which is going to be a bit confusing probably. So I'm going to try and work out how I'm going to do this, because first of all we need to do this reconfiguration and then we'll move on from there. So if I sort of do my signals myself, we will have like so. These are going to be our one-way signals, in fact. I'm not going to auto signal just yet. Yeah, so I've stuffed up the directionality. Well, I haven't stuffed it up, it's just going to confuse everything, but that's okay. Let's pause, in fact, so we don't cause the entire lane to break. And if these are our two main tracks, then what we're going to be wanting to do is push that one over here. And we'll be wanting it to, if I can connect on here, push this one here. That should fix everything, shouldn't it? No, it shouldn't, because we can't go through here yet. Makes sense. Okay. Might pull them further a little bit. And then they are going to split off. No, they're not going to split off. I'm going to split off. I don't know why it's a collision and they're not just attaching. That's odd. Okay, they'll attach there. Very strange. That should mostly fix things. We just need to change some of our platforms. Oh, hang on, we've not connected the right... Ah! Need to connect them up. You silly Billy. Put a little bit of a siding there in case we want to arrest a train there or something like that. Okay. We also want to chuck this line all the way through. Don't know what we're colliding with. We're colliding with that, but they're going to be collided with anyway, so I don't really care. Disconnect this bit. Connect you guys up. Now, our iron ore train only needs to connect up to that relief line. It doesn't need to connect all the way through, so we can just fine make a nice-ish connection there. And that's solved. Oh, actually, it's not completely solved because we still need to connect all the way up from here, but that's okay. That's fine. Gosh, this is a bit of a shit show, isn't it? And we are going to need to make a flat connection there, actually. There's not really any escaping that. So we're just going to have to run with it. Alright, here's where things get a little bit more complicated. In fact, they don't. What we can do is we can build a bit of a double slip type setup here. So we can punch this all the way through. Maybe? Yeah, we can. And we can set this as a double slip switch. So that's actually sorted. I thought that would be a lot more complicated than it was, but no, that's fine. And in fact, we can probably use that double slip for all of our weird movements. So that's actually perfect. So our directionality is probably all fixed now. We just need to sort of reset up some of our connections. So our Hollywood Express, we need to switch across a couple of the lines. In fact, it actually completely works as is, but obviously we want to get it set up with the new sort of setup that we're doing. So we will set up to platform 2, and coming back the other way, it will be platform 3. Yes. Okay, perfect. So it's now using the main tracks that we've drawn out. Who is going to have issues? So our issues are our shuttle, which is going to be reconstituted anyway. So we might as well fix that while we can. So it's going to go Fontana transfer, and it's going to go all the way through to Hollywood and back. And we'll just need to switch across to 1. Apparently we can't connect all stations, but I think we'll be able to fix that. Yes, just because we haven't fixed this part yet. That's fine. We can actually build the relief line all the way through anyway, but we might just build this through as a bit of a temporary measure. Next, we've got the Lancaster to Fontana line is broken. It doesn't actually matter at all because it's over, let's say. This line is no more. We'll make a temporary connection there. And then what we can actually just get that line and do is just assign it to our Santa Clara Fontana shuttle, as it's called now, which we will rename the central, we'll call it the Central Suburban Line, because it's sort of the central part of our network. And we should be able to press play now. And that should flow through with not a lot of issues. That's not ideal, but I think it's okay. All right, and next on our journey of decisions to make is duplicating all of our Hollywood line. Obviously, we've got some high-speed trains we want to run on this line, and it doesn't really make sense to have these passing loops anymore. We are potentially going to use some relief lines as well, at least probably in one direction. I feel like our direction heading away from Fontana, we could probably use relief lines on, because we're going to be running our heavily laden freight trains on that line. So we probably won't be using relief lines for the whole length of the line, but definitely for at least part of it. I just realized that was a silly decision, because we need to allow you to switch back across. In the meantime, we will continue working on fixing this. That should fix everything. No, so you're still missing a bit of electrification. So where are we not electrified? Where are you? Okay, you're there. Oh, okay, yeah, it's doing the whole thing. So I'm having some issues with pathfinding in this game. It's probably because I've built a sort of reasonably complex network with a lot of different connections. And I'm finding that trains are wanting to go different ways than I'm intending them to go. So what we're going to have to do with our suburban line here is... where are we right now? We're at Hollywood. After Hollywood, we're going to need to add a new station here to let our train know that it needs to head back in that direction. If we just switch it around and then back again, I mean, it's fixed anyway, so yeah, whatever, it's fine anyway. So that will fix that problem, and we'll just need to keep a lookout for any other trains making stupid decisions in terms of where they want to go. I'm also going to re-signal this area with our 350 meter. Didn't want you to go that way. Please turn around. But yes, auto sig 350 meters. Perfect. Pretty decent, actually. We'll go back the other way, do the same thing. Is this all fixed? No, it's not. You are still struggling. Struggling your way through there. But hopefully, shortly, we can delete this little stupid connection we had to make that work. Okay, cool. That should be done now, and we're just going to re-signal here. Lovely. All right. That should be all of that done. If we look at our finances here, it's early days, but we're doing pretty well in the first 3 months of 2029. Not full, but it's got a decent amount of passengers using it. Next, let's get that relief line in. So this relief line is going to be used up until the sort of break off here. And then once we get in towards Ann Arbor, it will actually rejoin. Probably about here or so. We don't want to have to remove any houses for this. I don't think it's really fair to do that. Next, let's put this as a double slip. Lovely. And then what we're doing here is we're actually giving our main line priority. So there is no signal between here and where our junction occurs, but we have a signal on our relief line right up there. So it means once a train is past this point, it's got priority. Whereas if our train on the relief line gets up to here, and then a train sort of pulls out here, it'll need to stop. So it gives a little bit of priority there. Okay, so it looks like all the passenger lines are all sort of sorted out, they're detangled, and it looks like everything should be working how it's intended to. So that's good to see. I'm just having a look at our central suburban line, and it's almost back to profitability, so that is good to see. So switching across from the Lancaster to Fontana line, which didn't really work from the very start, is immediately paying dividends for us. One thing I do want to do, which I'm actually really excited about, is getting a new electric train on our Hollywood line. So I mentioned we have, if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, we've got the Avelia Liberty, which is $166 million. Very expensive, and it's what we want to be using on our Hollywood line. We want to get rid of those old diesels, they're like 80 years old or more, and we want to get a lovely new Avelia Liberty. We're almost there. We've got 120 million in the bank, so I think we might just wait. Just for this episode, we might wait a little bit longer to see if we can get that on side. Alright, so it's fair a bit later, but we've got the cash in hand now, so we are going to get the Avelia Liberty build. Lovely, look at that. That is a high-speed train, and it's going to do really well for us. So let's get it built, and let's get it on our Hollywood line immediately. We will keep our 2 diesels running just for a little bit longer, and they will sort of just keep us able to deliver that sort of high, shall we say, you know, level of Why are you going there? Hollywood Express shouldn't run there. What are we talking about? What have we done? No, it doesn't. Has it just decided that it's going to do it? Okay, fair enough. It's just said I'm going to load and unload here because that's where I can go. But yeah, there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Now, probably a little bit different. You're probably not used to Monday for Transport Fever 2, but I'm going to be trying to do 2 episodes a week from now on. So hopefully this episode does actually come out on Monday, otherwise that would be a bit embarrassing. But that's how I want the next series to go. So I want to keep, I guess, start to get into the rhythm of putting out twice weekly episodes. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you get a ding to your device the next time I post a video. You'll find links to all my social media in the description, so please jump on there, like, follow, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. But until next time, I'm Bob Dendry. This is Transport Fever 2. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.